In any AniTuber's career, there will be at least one top 10 video, so I figured it was high time I made one. Are these the 10 best anime and manga of all time? Not by a long shot. If grad school taught me anything, it's that I hate objectively judging art and entertainment. An anime can have objectively the best artwork, the best characters, a philosophical and unique plot, and it can still feel pretty mediocre to me in hindsight. Looking at you, Ava. At the end of the day, I want to be entertained, I want to feel things, and I want the story and characters to stick with me for months and years after I've ingested it. So, since this is my channel, my rules, here are my top 10 favorite anime and manga that I like because I like, and actually it's my top 11 because I couldn't decide which of the bottom 3 to eliminate. Number 11, Mahoujin Guruguru. If you boil down my general taste in entertainment, I love 3 types of stories: comedies, epics, and satire. And Mahoujin Guruguru is all 3. It's a JRPG spoof starring a young hero, Nike, and his sorcerer companion, Kukuri, in their quest to rediscover the lost spells and culture of Kukuri's people, the Migu tribe, and to defeat Lord Giri. The manga and anime are quite entertaining and hilarious, especially if you like absurdist humor or satire. It also works pretty well as an RPG-style adventure story too, fart jokes aside. And if that's not enough to convince you that this is a worthy series to check out, just look at the Kita Oyaji in all his glory. He was meant to be only in one of the first story arcs, but I am so glad that he weaseled his way into the party for the rest of the story because, dude, this dance ambassador is my hero. Number 10, Fruits Basket. If you're into shoujo and haven't read or seen Fruits Basket yet, you better fix that. As of the recording of this video, I've only read the manga and seen the anime series from the early 2000s, so I can't say if the reboot anime is any good, but I look forward to binging it soon and, hopefully, feeling all the things again. You probably know Fruits Basket as that anime where the main characters turn into animals when hugged by the opposite sex. But at its heart, Fruits Basket is an excellent study in character and relationship. Each character is a complex human being with their own trauma and challenges to overcome. Toru is going through homelessness and the death of her mother. Kyo is cursed and his own family treats him like an outcast. Yuki has a hard time connecting with others. Shigure struggles with how utterly desirable he is. Even Toru's normie friends, Hana-chan and Uo-chan, have dark pasts to overcome. If you want big epic battles and action scenes, this isn't your story. But if you want to make a bunch of close friends to laugh and cry with, Fruits Basket is your manga. Number 9, Hime-chan's Ribbon. Have to admit, it was hard to decide between this and Tokimeki Tonight for the number 9 slot, since these two stories are rather similar and are both from Ribbon Mascot Comics, but I ultimately went with Hime-chan because I never finished reading the Tokimeki Tonight manga. It started to drag after Ranze's story arc, and Hime-chan was a great ride start to finish. Himeko is a tomboyish girl who's insecure about herself, until one day, Princess Erika, her look-alike from the Land of Magic, gives her a ribbon that helps her transform into whomever she wants. Hime-chan uses the ribbon to become other people and hijinks ensue. Also, when she receives the ribbon, her favorite stuffed animal Pokota comes to life to become her adorable sidekick, which is another bonus. Can't be a proper magical girl series without an animal companion, right? Wait, does this mean all magical girls are druids? I digress. Through Hime-chan's adventures with the ribbon, she learns more about humanity, finds romance, turns an enemy into a friend, and learns to love herself. It's got action, adventure, laughs, and tears, and it's just a really fun, wholesome, well-rounded story and cast of characters. Great for kids of all ages. Number 8, Yorimoi. Contrary to popular belief, yes, I do watch some new anime. Not everything on this list is from the 90s, I swear. I'm old. Of all the anime and manga on this list, Sora Yorimo Toi Basho is the only anime I've seen just once through, and I haven't read the manga either, but I hope to change both of these things soon. If you're a jaded, older otaku like me, you're probably no longer excited by anime in the same way that you used to be. You reach a certain point where it takes a lot more than just pretty artwork, moe girls, or the general anime aesthetic of an anime to make you like it. And while Yorimoi is definitely an anime and it's pretty moe, it also happens to have a very unique and compelling story. Antarctica has always fascinated me, so a story about cute girls going to Antarctica and doing cute things was pretty hard to pass up. Not only adventurous, but it will make you feel things, blah blah blah. Yeah, I just really enjoyed this cute, wholesome anime. Number 7. Death Note. Sometimes popular anime are popular for a reason, and Death Note is right up there with the top objectively good anime of all time. Anime which are so good on so many levels that they transcend weebdom and have plenty of normie fans. Death Note is just the perfect anime. It's smart, it's suspenseful, it's funny, it's tragic, the characters are distinct and their relationships and interactions are so satisfying, especially Light and L. Their cat and mouse dynamic and bizarre friendship that blossoms through the morbidity never fails to give me the tingles. And for those who like it, there's action and violence as well. This is another rare series where both the manga and the anime are excellent. The anime adaptation was very faithful to the manga. And while the ending was a little divisive and anticlimactic for some, I was thoroughly satisfied and felt it was how the series had to end. The only issue I had with the series, if I have to nitpick, is it just wasn't the same after L left the story. I suspect Death Note might have suffered from being too good and the writers were forced to extend it longer than they'd originally planned, but otherwise it's pretty hard to get more perfect than Death Note. So why isn't it ranked number 1 on this list, you may ask? You forget, this isn't an objective list. This is what I like best, taking my entire 25 years as an otaku into account. And as much as I love Death Note, it still doesn't hold as special a place in my heart as the other series I have yet to list, including... Number 6. Ayashi Noceres. Ayashi Noceres holds a special place in my heart for so many reasons. It was the first manga series I got into as a manga, not because I'd seen the anime first. In fact, the anime didn't even exist when I first got into Ayasere. In fact, the anime came out while I was living in Japan. In fact, I was literally the first weeb on the block to see the anime and read the newest manga chapters as soon as they were published in Shokomi magazine. Yeah, it was the first anime I ever translated too for a fansub. Fun fact, this fansub with my translations for episodes 1 and 2 was going to be premiered at Anime Expo 2000, but they went with a professional close to last minute because the series was picked up by Viz. Since the series was picked up for commercial release overseas quite early, the fansub never actually got released, but I kept my own personal copy of Volume 1 with my translations, and it survived several moves until... Unfortunately, I lost it somewhat recently. Oh, and also Wataseyu drew me and my friend in a free talk of Volume 8 of the manga, and she said I had a great body. No biggie, no biggie. But bragging rights aside, Ayashi Noceres is great. It's one of those genre-defying stories that works on so many levels. It's a teen romance, sci-fi, action-adventure, comedy, coming-of-age, tearjerker, philosophical what is the meaning of life and what does it mean to be human story. Oh wow, I've gotten this far into the blurb without even mentioning the plot. So okay. On her 16th birthday, Aya suddenly becomes a fugitive when Ceres, Aya's ancient ancestor, who also happens to be a celestial nymph, takes up dual residency in Aya's brain and body. She's forced to become enemies with her family, falls in love with a mysterious ubermensch named Toya, travels all over Japan trying to find others like her, and it's a real ride. For Ceres, I recommend the manga over the anime since the latter condensed the story a lot, rushing through or omitting entirely some pretty kick-ass story arcs and characters, but the anime was still pretty well done, and the first half of it at least remains one of my favorites to this day. Number 5. Glass Mask. Glass Mask, or Garasu no Kamen in Japanese, is the longest-running manga series I have ever read, and Miyuchi-sensei still hasn't even finished writing it yet. Oh my god, please finish it before you die. Glass Mask is basically a love letter to the theater as well as a prime example of good shoujo. Our protagonist is Maya, a working-class girl who has had little interest in anything besides storytelling and acting. Through almost 50 tankobon and counting, we follow Maya through her struggles in acting, her rise to stardom and the subsequent plummet from it, and the ups and downs in her personal life as well. We have a lovable cast of supporting actor friends, her tough love to the extreme mentor Tsukikage, and the ultimate friend-zoned wannabe love interest boy Sakura Koji-kun. While we have many sub-arcs that cover whichever play or film Maya is currently working on, her main dream is to someday perform the title role in Kurenai Tenyo, this famous old play which Tsukikage-sensei has the sole rights to and refuses to let anyone else have, no matter how much money they offer her and no matter how ill or destitute she becomes. We also have romance, it is shoujo after all, But the romance in Glass Mask is rather complicated because Hayami Masumi, the heir to the very entertainment company who's trying to destroy Maya's career and steal Tsukikage's rights to Kurenai Tenyo, is also secretly Maya's biggest fan, and oh my god, I fucking love this trope. Give me a story where the main character or characters have secret identities and the relationship dynamic between the characters and their secret identities is dramatically different, and I'm a happy gal. But it's not Masumi's and Maya's romance that makes me feel all the things, most of all in this series. It's actually the rivalry and eventual strange friendship between Maya and Ayumi, the rich, privileged daughter of a famous actress who desperately wants to prove herself by winning the role of Kurenai Tenyo fair and square. Watching these two girls' dynamic evolve from starstruck awe and contempt to jealousy and envy to curiosity and sympathy and eventually mutual respect and compassion is very heartwarming. I've seen 3 different animated versions of this manga, and aside from the OVA, it's all good. Though I recommend the most recent anime adaptation since it's easier to find and covers more of the manga. As of yet, the manga has not been officially released in English, so, Michi sensei, この動画見ているならぜひ、ガラスの仮面の英訳の役名を私にください。愛してるわ。Number 4, Chibi Marukochan. Most otaku probably wouldn't give an anime like this a chance at first glance, but don't let its minimal art style turn you off. Chibi Marukochan is one of the most popular anime in Japan, and for good reason. It's funny, charming, and relatable AF. Our protagonist is Maruko, an elementary school girl who's basically the author, Sakura Momoko, in kid form. She's no magical girl, she's no waifu, but she's me, and she's you. She's all of us. She's that school project you put off till the night before. She's faking illness to stay home from school, then getting caught later that afternoon trying to go out. She's that one time you really had to take a crap at school, but you were too embarrassed to do so, so you held it in all day, and you had a few close calls, and then when you finally got home, your grandpa was in the bathroom, and please get out, I have to go. And if you want to learn the Japanese language or learn about Japanese culture, look no further than Chibi Marukochan. The simple yet relatable stories are easy to understand, and the deceptively mundane plots are perfect windows into the Japanese soul. Even though Chibi Marukochan is about a little girl growing up in Japan in the 70s, I can hardly think of an anime that can connect people from all walks of life more than this. Number 3, GTO. Great Teacher Onizuka was one of the first anime I ever watched seasonally since it was on TV during my year in Japan. Even though the whole style of shonen anime usually turns me off, for some reason everything just works in this show for me. Onizuka Eikichi is a former delinquent and a new teacher. He's given a class full of problem children who, one by one, he wins over through teaching them life lessons from the school of hard knocks and, frankly, problematic antics that don't hold up today, but hey, it's a manga, it's supposed to be over the top. I just love all the characters in this series, especially in the manga, which goes into greater detail and doesn't have an abrupt, unsatisfying ending like the anime did. We have the alpha nerd, the ditzy girl with the big boobs and a heart of gold, the drama queen, the tsundere girl, the tsundere boy, the bullied kid, the evil genius, the hot mom, the midlife crisis pervert teacher, the other midlife crisis pervert teacher, the Toyota Cresta, the Gundam otaku trio. Yeah, so many good archetypes. It's also got a great collection of theme songs. Both OPs got me into Raruku and Pornograffiti, and the anime, while shonen, also has an art style that I don't dislike. The anime and manga are both excellent, but of course, if you have to pick one, go with the manga. Number 2, Fushiki Yuugi. Okay, confession. This was at the number 1 slot originally when I wrote this script. But I've been rereading the manga and it just doesn't hold up as well as I thought it would, so I moved it down a notch. But it still deserves to be at the top of this list for so many reasons. Miyaka and Yui are best friends who get sucked into another world where they have to find 7 superpowered warriors each and summon a god. But in the process, the 2 best friends become enemies, which, now that I'm older, is a much more compelling plot to me than all the romances. But if you love reverse harem anime, there's plenty of juicy bishonen for you too. and the story works on so many levels. It's coming of age, comedy, adventure, fantasy, harem, isekai, romance, and superhero epic all in one. The art style blew me away at the time. Fun fact, my friends and I initially got into this series when we were in Chinatown, San Francisco, shopping for bootlegged Sailor Moon merch. And we saw a wall scroll of these hot guys in a shop and we're like, eee, they're so hot! And then one of my friends bought the wall scroll as a joke, and then we found VHSs of the anime in our Japanese video rental store and watched it without subtitles. Then we found out fan subs were a thing, and we ordered the fan subs, and yeah, Fushiki Yuugi was the first anime my friends and I got into that we didn't see dubbed on broadcast TV first. The characters are so much fun that I wrote plenty of cringy fan fiction about them all and memorized all their character songs long before I understood a word of Japanese. And the fandom lives on, with a musical, several prequel novels, all of which I've read and many of which I've translated way back in the day, a few OVA sequels, a prequel manga series devoted to a whole other protag, and I just recently learned, like last month, that a prequel manga series for the final protag, Suzuno, is now a thing. I guess what I'm getting at here is that even if Fushiki Yuugi wouldn't have been at the top of this list if I'd seen all this anime for the first time now, in my old age, Fushiki Yuugi was still such a big part of my life and played such a key role in shaping who I am as a translator, writer, and an artist that it will always hold a special place in my heart. Oh gee, I wonder which anime is #1! Yeah, in case it wasn't already clear from my channel name, avatar, and like half the content I make up here, it's Sailor Moon. To clarify though, I really only love Sailor Moon Classic and the live-action series PGSM. Crystal is good, but I'm not sure it would make it into my top 10. I never really got into the musicals, and the manga is boring, sorry. I know this is a very divisive topic in the Sailor Moon fan community, but I can easily see why the huge fan base can be so passionately separated into different camps. Like any good story, Sailor Moon works on many levels. On the one hand, it's a story about destiny and love. An ordinary girl who was a moon princess in a past life fated to be with the Earth Prince, and with the power of love, magic, and several canned transformation and attack sequences, she rids the world of evil. But at its core, Sailor Moon is a story about friendship, and this is ultimately what I loved about it as a teen, and why Sailor Moon still holds up after all these years. Like any good Sentai show, each member of the Sailor team has a very distinct personality, color scheme, and set of powers. The combination of these different personality and power types harmonizes beautifully, and it's the perfect sort of series to be into with a group of friends because each member of your friend group can have a different favorite. Mine was Venus then Saturn, by the way. And you can see so many parallels with the Senshi and your friend group IRL. The canned attack and transformation sequences, while they're definitely campy, are magical and fun to memorize and perform with your friends, which I totally did. And the interactions between these girls in civilian form are funny, seriously. Even now, as a jaded old woman, I still get a good laugh watching all these scenes in the first halves of all the episodes. Is it formulaic? Yeah. Is it predictable? Yes. Is it cheesy? Oh yeah. But it's like that special group of close friends you get together with every week to gossip about the same things, share a good meal, and laugh and cry together. And just like Fushiki Yuugi, I owe a lot of who I am as a person today to Sailor Moon. Without Tsukino Usagi in my life, I wouldn't have learned Japanese, wouldn't have lived in Japan, wouldn't have become a translator, wouldn't have a YouTube channel dedicated to anime and Japanese translation. So, Moon Eternal make up forever, and the light of the moon does indeed carry a message of love. So that was my top 11 anime and manga series. A lot of these titles are older and maybe hard to find, but if you can find them, I recommend them all. And if you want to know about all the other anime and manga series I've enjoyed to put my taste into context, I did finally get a My Anime List account, so you can check that out and roast my taste. Links in the doobly-doo below. Thank you to all my co-conspirators at Patreon for helping support this channel, and thank you for watching!